This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Minnesota State Fair is the site of our location of our broadcast. Today, I'm the common man, Dan Cole, along with Tiana B. We're at Carousel Park in the shadows of the grandstand. Excited and delighted to welcome the legendary Brian Oake into our broadcast booth here. Let's hear it for Brian Oake. Good to see me, boy. How are you?
I love the fair, man. I've gone on record, even those years, so many years of being out here, 7 or 8 of the 11 days. Some of the magic goes away by day 6, right? But I love the fair. I got here 2 hours ago, so I could just wander around. I was here on Sunday with my daughter. She didn't want to do the animal barns this year. I guess my little girl's all grown up.
Yeah.
And so I went over and checked out the animals this morning, and they seem to be doing quite well over there. Best of the best.
Were you like Dr. Doolittle? Did you walk and talk with the animals? Or?
Well, when you come here by yourself, and I've just started recently living by myself, I do find myself talking to myself a little more often, so I don't think I actually openly talked to the animals, but that wouldn't be out of character.
How is bachelor life sitting with you?
It's only been since the first of the month, so we're getting close to 4 weeks. And
tough adjustment?
Let me just say that family matters. Yeah. And, and sometimes you need other people around you to get by. But if you can swing living by yourself. Again, now I'm 57 years old, and this is the first time in my life I haven't ever I've lived alone.
Really?
Yeah, I've always had roommates or family or whatever, and I'm going to say it is 10 out of 10, as the kids like to say.
I've lived alone on a number of occasions when I was doing the radio.
Well, you're the journeyman radio guy.
Yeah, I was all over the place. I lived alone when I was in Montana, and when I was in Wyoming, and when I was in Texas, and when I was in Iowa. So, couldn't find anybody to live with me. If they would have had a state fair with some animal barns, I may have adopted a pig or something and move in with me.
Or one of those chickens that the feathers actually look like fur. There's some weird stuff down there.
Is there really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But cool stuff. And the goats always terrify me. You ever looked at a goat's pupil before? It's like an hourglass.
His what? His pupil?
No, inside the eye?
No.
Well, ours are just circles. Theirs are like an hourglass turned on its side. No wonder people think they're the devil, man. Goats are scary.
How did you discover that they had eyes? Did you read it, or did
No,
you
I looked at it. I remember seeing a goat when I was very young, and I'm like, what's wrong with its eyes? And then once I realized it was staring at me directly from hell, I've been a little freaked out by goats ever since.
So you don't go to the goat barn here?
No, I do. I think it's important to face your fears, especially at the Great Minnesota Get-Together.
And but you keep a distance, right? You view them at a safe distance.
Well, they've got horns on their head, man. That's survival 101. If it's got bigger horns than you do, stay back.
You made a very controversial statement the last time you were on.
That's
a rock. You said that this was the biggest music festival this side of Woodstock 1969.
No, I'm not comparing it culturally. What I said is it's the biggest music festival on an annual basis in the upper Midwest because it's 11 days. There are a half dozen stages. There's music going nonstop, and that's all aside from the grandstand. I think more than 1,000 acts playing more than 9,000 shows over the course of 11 days. There's nothing that even comes close. Even your epic Windstocks and Wee Fests and all that kind of stuff. 4 days, you probably got to have, maybe 50 bands, maybe 45 bands. This is by far annually the biggest music festival in the upper Midwest.
Including the man to your left, mouth guitar guy.
Exactly.
48 years at the fair, 25 with the fan. There's no longer running musical act at the state fair, I don't think, continuously running.
Right.
Than mouth guitar guy.
Maybe the Turtles, but that would probably be
it. The Turtles do get here, it seems like. As a matter of fact, have they performed yet, or is that still coming down the pike?
I don't have it in front of me right now. I don't know. I do know that I'm the president of the fan club for a band that performed here opening up for Melissa Etheridge just the other night.
Devo.
No, Indigo Girls.
Oh, Indigo, yeah.
Indigo Girls. Devo is coming to town,
yes,
but no.
That's what I heard.
Indigo Girls, and they were great. And I had a bunch of friends that were sharing clips from Melissa Etheridge, and it looked like it was a fantastic show. As I've always said, unrepentant fan of the Indigo Girls, and not enough to come down and see them at the grandstand. I don't love it as a venue, but when back in the days of sweet comp tickets, it was pretty easy to go in and leave when you wanted.
You were scheduled to be on with us yesterday, but you begged off because once you heard about the Kelly Kelsey, Taylor Swift engagement. You were overcome with joy and happiness, and you watched continuing coverage on Entertainment Tonight.
There's not one factual statement in that last sentence you just said. I wasn't supposed to be here yesterday, and I never, it doesn't even matter how big they are, and this is obviously the biggest celebrity pairing in quite some time, decades, I would say. I never cared about that end of it, you know. Like, I like Taylor's music. Kelsey seems to be like a more than adequate football player. That's where my interest in both of them completely comes to a halt. But there are no shortage of people, in the millions, I would argue, that are absolutely frothing at the mouth about the entire thing.
Lil B almost was brought to tears when she heard about it yesterday out here at the. That's what I was told. That's the rumors where she was almost brought to tears by the fact that her gal Tay Tay.
Well, and Tay Tay's a big enough deal that I don't begrudge the people who feel that way. She's this generation's Elvis, man. I mean, there isn't anyone bigger and that has touched more people across demographics. Well, Taylor's a big deal.
When John broke up with what was his first wife's name?
Not Julia. Not Lydia. Linda? No.
That was Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
When he broke up with his first wife,
what is her name?
And ended up going with Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
Did you come to tears when you heard that John Lennon and Yoko Ono were together? It didn't shake you.
Yeah, oddly enough, I hadn't been born yet. Otherwise, I'm sure it would have racked me. What year did that go down? Like 66?
Yeah,
67?
late 60s.
Yeah, okay. I was born in the late 60s. But regardless, I was a little too naive at that point to really appreciate the cultural impact of what was to come.
Now, did you hear, the fan has learned Ozzy Osbourne passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
They were about to release a documentary on the BBC, but they decided not to.
Right.
Because they want to tweak it. Is that what I heard?
I think, well, now that they've got a sort of a more, definitive ending for their story, that's probably part of it. But I think they were also trying to, because this thing was already in the pipe, I think they're trying to give it a little distance from his death just to show a little respect. Otherwise, it seems even more crass and of a check-in. If it came out when he was still alive, it's just a tribute to him. But now, if it were coming out within a week or two,
almost seems like
passing,
a money grab.
It suddenly looks very ugly and very cheap, and so I think that's part of the reason too, is they're just giving it some space.
Well, and let's face it, they regardless of line of work, if there is somebody that's very popular and very well known, famous, shall we say, and those obituaries are already written. They've been written for years.
Oh, yeah.
Like Ozzy's was already written.
Yep.
They just have to fill in the details, the age and cause of death.
Well, and
that's it.
Particularly if somebody's facing, chronic health issues or has been sick for a while. No, that's already been written for sure.
Mick Jagger.
Yep.
Paul McCartney.
Bob Dylan.
Yep. They've all been written. I'm telling you, they have. The New York Times is ready as soon as it happens.
Right.
Boom. Because you look at it and you go, boy, they sure put that together in a real hurry.
Well, and I don't think that it's too macabre. I don't think they're sitting there rubbing their hands together and waiting for the day. But, it's for them, it's just very efficient. This is going to happen. It's going to be newsworthy. Let's get out in front of it. Do your research so that we've got one of the most well thought out and considerate articles that's, a fitting eulogy for Paul McCartney or Bob Dylan or whoever the case may be.
Tend to be. You were, speaking of the, of Tay Tay, you're a fan, right?
I mean, I'm not a Swiftie. I don't know if I don't know. I like some of her music, yeah. I don't know if I'd say I'm a fan. I didn't get emotional yesterday when the news broke down. That doesn't do a whole lot for me, but I can listen to Karma and Anti-Hero and We're Never, Ever, Ever Getting Back Together. That's some good stuff. My 5-year-old daughter was extremely happy with the news yesterday. Oh, she's very excited about it.
Over under how many years it'll last? 5 years?
What's weird is early on it seemed like just another kind of stunty celebrity.
People thought it was fake right away.
They did, but it's two superstars. But you kind of got a date at your strata, right? And so, but then it got real quiet, and as much out of the spotlight as either of those two are capable of living a life that way. And it seems like it's moving along healthy, and everything seems normal. And I don't know either of them or about either of them well enough to even speculate. I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb because I believe in positivity and wishing for the best. I'm going to say till the end of the road.
Aw.
You're saying till death do them part?
That's what you say when you do the thing. course, some of us don't make it quite to death, but
50% don't.
Yeah,
well, you were near it.
Yeah, well, I actually was. I was just incredible. Yeah, no, the sickest I've ever been in my life, and going through an active divorce. My last year and a half has not been ideal, Common, but I'll tell you right now, things are absolutely on the up.
Well, you got nowhere to go but up at this point. Right? I mean, well, seriously,
we're coming.
Yeah,
we're coming.
We're coming. You know, one of my favorite websites is American Songwriter. The craft of music, right? So I wanted to bounce this up because I love their stories because they're just these bold statements, and it's clickbait. I get it. Like this one says, 4 songs from 1975 that forever changed rock history.
Wow.
Well,
that forever changed it. Will never be the same again.
And that'll show you what clickbait has done to the nature of content delivery in our modern world. You can't go, whether you're looking up health facts, whether you're looking up music facts, whether you're trying to look for news, they will never give you the details in, above the byline. And it's just, boom, but it's juicy enough that you're like, well, I'll be the judge of that, the 4 songs that changed it forever.
And then usually they'll have 5, 6, 7, 13, 14 paragraphs before they get to what they want to talk about.
Agreed. Also, and those are interspliced with big ads that you accidentally click on sometimes. No, online journalism is not fun. There are still great writers out there, but that kind of stuff is pure clickbait. But now, having said that, since you've, I'm sure, already clicked it, I would like to know what those 4 songs are.
Well, what I want you to do is, now, again, it's like, we used to do a bit, Tenneby and I, when it was okay to play, where we were getting away with playing licensed music on the air because we would put it on the podcast. We didn't care. And then finally we were told by the industry, by all the record companies, and by ASCAP and BMI and the artists, you can't do that you have a license for the radio, but not for podcasting, so we don't do it. But Tenneby would play a song. I would try to guess the year it came out.
Okay.
And then
Where on the chart?
Where on the chart. And most of the time, I was pretty good at it. I mean, with music in my wheelhouse.
You're talking to me like I've never listened to the program before. I've heard the bit several times.
So you know the bit.
He also has his 394 quick slipping thing that he talks about.
I'd love to hear more about that.
So what I want to do is, of these, I want to see if, now again, I'm narrowing it down to 1975. And
go on.
Well, let's do it on the other side of the break.
After the break, we'll tease them.
Because what I want you to do, I want you to guess. I want to see how much. We'll give you like half a dozen guesses and see if you can get any of them.
Okay.
Think back to 1975.
Right.
And we'll see if you can get what American Songwriter says, the 4 songs that came out in 1975 that changed rock and roll history forever. We'll do that. And then, Oake, you're going to love this. This is a game that was invented by Corey Cole. It's called Name That Tune. Corey Cole at the morning show made it.
He stole it from a Kansas City radio station.
He made a game called Name That Tune, and you and I are going to play Name That Tune in that last segment. And then the legendary Mark Rosen will join us. So we'll take a short break. We'll come back with more. We're broadcasting live from Carousel Park, Shadows of the Grandstand. It's the Fan, live from the fair. Common Tenneby and Brian Oake right here on the Fan. It's day number, let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, day 7. It's our 5th day here at the State Fair. We'll be back tomorrow and Friday. Tenneby, will you remind the listeners and me what's on tap tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have Michael Russo of The Athletic. I don't know if you've heard of The Athletic before. It covers the Minnesota Wild. He'll be out here from 1 to 2 o'clock. Then you have Mark Rosen, of course, 2 to 3 o'clock. But while Rosie is here, we're going to have 2 members of the Minnesota Frost at 2:15. That would be Taylor Heisey and Grace Zumwinkle.
And then on Friday, of course, Lil B, Feminine Touch of the Program. She's the smoke show from Glencoe. She'll join us at 1 o'clock. And then Corey Cove and the Tasteless Box of Mashed Potatoes. Justin Gard will join us for Program Password. That will come your way at 1:30. Brian Oake is here for a little rock talk. So 1975, right in my wheelhouse. I mean, that's at the beginning of my Haight-Ashbury.
Got you.
And one of these songs that in this, I had the album, and this song that's included on the album. I had the album, and I probably ended up having to buy 3 different copies because I wore it out playing I played it so much that I had to wear it out.
Okay.
I'm looking at the four. I don't have it now. It might take forever if I just go name 4 songs from 1975 that changed rock history.
All I can think of is there's one song that because I'm trying to remember. I don't know exactly what year most of these came out that I have in my head, but there's one that did come out in 1975 that if it's not on this list, it is an utterly fraudulent list.
And that song is
the first number 1 by my all-time favorite rock star, David Bowie, "Fame," a song he did with John Lennon.
"Fame" is on this list.
There we go. Okay, I'm willing to tolerate and entertain the rest of it.
It says it's one thing to reinvent your look and sound before commercial success, but David Bowie shape-shifted to R&B and funk in 1975 following his groundbreaking glam rock run. Though he'd later perfect his funk and soul turn on Station to Station.
Correct.
"Fame," written with John Lennon and Carlos Alomar, inspired everyone from Roxy Music to Talking Heads, as well as West Coast G-Funk, my favorite, West Coast G-Funk. Check out how "Fame" gave Parliament its P-Funk groove on "Give Up the Funk, Tear the Roof Off the Sucker."
Exactly. I mean, everyone kept saying he was a chameleon and just adopting to the times. The problem is they're getting the timing wrong. He was out in front every time. And again, he had built himself up to dizzying heights of fame with the glam rock period. You know, your Ziggy Stardust and your Aladdin Sane. And then fired his entire band and said, "I'm going to do something else." And he was great at every step of the way. He got kind of quiet there in the early 2000s, but then was strong all the way again up until his death in 2016.
And am I right? This could be probably true about a number of artists, but he didn't really like performing live. Is that true or is that wrong? I thought that
he would, before he was a musician, he always played music, but he was going to school to be a mime, believe it or not. And he was doing all this physical theater stuff. So I think he liked putting together the production. I think he liked the spectacle of it all, but I think he was much more of a studio rat and songwriter than he was a live performer.
Much like Steely Dan, Donald Fagen and Walter Becker. They didn't like to tour for the longest time. They didn't, and then they went a long time between albums and touring. They almost semi-retired.
The band XTC, Andy Partridge, who's sort of the main brain and main songwriter, he was absolutely hated, didn't just dislike, but hated touring and wouldn't do it for a few of their biggest albums, much to the detriment of the band. But in an interview, he said, "Look, you ask a great painter to paint a painting. Then do you ask them to go to the next town and paint that painting again and then paint that painting again?" He said, "Once I've created this piece of art, it's there. That's the art. That's the thing. I don't want to have to go to every town and play it for everybody."
Here's what I'll do. I'll give you hints on the other 3 and see how many it takes.
Are the Eagles on the list?
No.
Okay.
This song came from an album called Toys in the Attic.
Aerosmith.
Yes. And what was the song?
Oh, is it Dream On?
No.
Okay. Is it... It's not Dream On. Is it Mama Kin?
No.
Okay. Is it... What's on Toys in the Attic? I don't have that.
Run DMC.
Oh, Walk This Way.
Walk This Way.
Yeah. That changed music forever?
It says you can hear its influence in the guitar playing of Slash on Guns N' Roses, blockbuster debut, Appetite for Destruction. But Walk This Way also changed music when Rick Rubin recycled Steven Tyler's rap rock in a crossover hit for Run DMC. Rubin helped bring hip-hop to the mainstream audiences, and Run DMC's Walk This Way collaboration rejuvenated Aerosmith's stalled career, but the original had to happen first.
That song is as important, the remake with Run DMC, as important to bringing hip-hop to white America as anything. Obviously, the Beastie Boys did a lot of the heavy lifting there, but as far as the first sort of crossover by black artists to bring hip hop to wider America, it was the convolution of how good Run DMC already had been in their legacy, mix it up with a classic rocker, because that was Rubin's jam. He did it with the Beastie Boys all the time, and then MTV, and it was a killer video that did as much to bring hip hop to the masses as any other song.
The next one is from a band called Pink Floyd, 1975.
What record are we talking? Okay, hang on. Let me think. Are we talking about Wish You Were Here?
Yes, and that's the song as well.
Okay.
The song and album.
Last week, we just talked about how the guy who's on fire on the cover of that record, I forget his name off the top of my head, but the stuntman who was lit on fire 18 times, I later found out, to get the perfect shot.
He was in the burn unit for a year and a half
No, I
before he
don't
perished.
think so, but he just passed a week ago, and Wish You Were Here, that was their love letter to Syd Barrett, who was really the founder of the band, but he got so deep in the psychedelic lifestyle, a.k.a. kids stay in school and don't do drugs, that it literally burnt his brain out in a matter of just a few short years, and then the band went on to dizzying heights without him, but they never forgot that he was the one, and that whole album is a tribute to their fallen comrade.
The final song, according to American Songwriter, the four that in 1975 changed music, rock and roll history forever.
Gotta love a little hyperbole.
It's the title track of Bruce Springsteen's third album.
Is that Born to Run?
Born to Run.
Which you can't argue with that. I mean, he was... I know a lot of people, especially with those earlier records, like to make the Dylan comparison in terms of the sort of rambling, loose imagery, storytelling kind of stuff. But for the longest, he is the quintessential American songwriter if you're into rock and roll, and stayed that way for more than 30 years, and still to this day puts out great music, but maintained at a very both influential and commercially successful level for a very long time.
I'm about to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
I love it so much.
That was the album that I had to buy 3 copies of.
Born to Run?
Born to Run.
It's
Start to finish, side A, side B. I thought sheer genius and brilliance.
Right, perfect.
And I'd never heard of Bruce Springsteen until that album.
Right.
I have this theory, and it's probably...
Have we gotten to the controversial
Well,
part yet?
this is the controversial part. It was so good that anything he did after that, I thought, just paled in comparison. As a matter of fact, I stopped listening to Bruce Springsteen, even if it was, and I probably didn't give him much of it afterwards a lot. It's not like I listened to every single album he did after that, which were probably about 100 different albums or 40, whatever the number is.
Right.
I never listened to them all, so I am kind of talking out of my you-know-where.
I understand.
But I just go, well, if that was so good, how can you top that? Now, some people didn't he have an album called Nebraska.
He did.
And he had another
And the
album,
River.
And the River and this and that.
Yep.
But when I just thought to myself, well, sorry, that is the quintessential Bruce Springsteen album. I don't think it can touch, so I'm not even going to...
I think that happens a lot.
Listen.
I
happens a lot with a lot of artists and bands.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Oh.
It's like some people say, like in my humble opinion, Dylan's best records were his first 3 or 4 records.
Right.
But you talk to someone who's actually spent a proper amount of time with them, and he's another artist like a Bowie who has had so many phases, so many different styles because he could. Were those as good as those early records? But do they mean a lot to the people who are huge fans? Yeah, and most Springsteen fanatics are not just lukewarm fans; they are fanatics. So I think they've taken the journey with them the whole way.
Well, like
Born to USA was bigger than Born in the USA was bigger than Born to Run ever was.
Right.
But was it as good? It was very 80s, and it was a huge MTV sensation. But I agree with you. I don't think it's a better record than Born to Run.
you have an album or two you thought you were...
I mean, like Bone Thugs and Harmony,
Right.
Eternal East 1999. Just a brilliant rap album.
Exactly.
From that point on, they had some other good songs, but you could never top what you did with that album.
Yeah, well, and I feel that way like Beastie Boys I brought up earlier. Paul's Boutique is a masterpiece that will never be matched again due to the sampling and the way it was put together. It just couldn't be. It would cost tens of millions of dollars to make that record today. And the Beastie Boys put out a bunch of great stuff afterwards, but Paul's Boutique is so foundational that I think
that's one of the things I respect about the Beatles is obviously the Beatles had a whole catalog note that's unmatched by anybody else.
Right.
13 albums altogether.
But if you listen to like some of the earlier stuff, like they evolved and got better as they went along.
And I think the course of
I think that's rare. I think it typically goes the other way. Everyone else puts their best stuff out first and can't match it.
Right. I think you're exactly right.
Well, you do see that in music, in all genres, in all decades, where a band maybe has... You hear me use this phrase all the time. Do you like that band? I put them in my group of half a dozen.
Right.
What do you mean? Well, they have a half a dozen songs I like, and that's it. They'll have 12 songs on an album. That's back in the day. It used to be about 12 songs. Because songs weren't... You didn't get a lot of... Unless it was prog rock, like Yes.
I was going to say, then you get 3.
Yeah, then you get 3 songs. One takes up the whole side of an album. You'd have 6 on each side, and one would be a smash hit, right? It would be something that everybody wanted, goes to the top 10, maybe number 1, and the other is just kind of filler. Well, the record company goes, well, you need more than that. Oh, okay, and you can tell that those musicians, their craft really wasn't songwriting. I am amazed by the songwriters that can put out song after song after song, and some of them don't even perform. All the legendary names that you see all these songs, and you can go back. he wrote that? Who's this person? There are people that have made a living just writing songs. Not even performing them.
And there are some people who are exceptionally good at both, like Ed Sheeran comes to mind immediately. That guy, obviously, insanely talented superstar in his own right, plays live, writes songs, puts out albums that are deeply revered, but has also written songs and or produced for dozens of other artists. So, that's I think that's commonplace.
A half hour of rock talk in the books. We're going to play we're going to play Name That Tune. Yeah. Corey Cove of the Power Trip Morning Show came up with the game many years ago. He stole it from a Kansas City radio station, as tended to be mentioned. We'll play Name That Tune next, live from the Minnesota State Fair. We're in the shadows of the grandstand at Carousel Park, right here on the Fan.